I have here the latest release from Hourglass. These are the Curator eyeshadow palettes. They are quads and they are very natural, minimal eyeshadows. And they do come in different color stories. I think there's 6 total of them. I have 4 here to share with you. But this release overall wasn't one that I was super excited, but some of the color stories intrigued me and I wanted to try them. And the price is one thing that kind of made me take a pause and think about it, because this little thing right here is $68. And I feel like that's a very expensive for what you get. First of all, the packaging, I am not a fan of the tinfoil packaging from Hourglass. I think it's just kind of feels cheap. It's not very sturdy. The mirror doesn't stay up. It just closes. And so I just don't like the packaging. Overall, I like how it looks. I think it's sleek. I love the size that it's so small. For somebody who doesn't wear a lot of eyeshadow, something like this is perfect. And then you get the colors inside, 4 of them. You don't get a ton of product. And so I just feel like the price was so steep for what you're getting. There's a slight tilt here. So, you know, that is one thing that kind of made me take a pause, but I did have a percentage off at Ulta. So I picked up 4 shades for the purpose of reviewing this. And I really wanted to let you guys know if I think the quality is good. I did swatch them in store and they felt amazing, but overall they're just a more natural, minimal kind of eyeshadow palette. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. I am swatching these on my eyes, 4 different color stories. Let's get started. I got the Realist, Minimalist, Modernist, and Futurist. So 4 color stories. Some of these are already sold out online. I personally don't mind spending $68 on a quad that I absolutely love and I'm gonna get a lot of use out of. And you know, you don't get a ton of product. Let's see how much you get. Each of the eyeshadows are 1 gram. So you get 4 grams of product total, which is not a lot, but for somebody who doesn't wear a lot of shadows, or I almost never go through an eyeshadow palette, I don't really care about that much. I care more about the colors and how they apply and all that good stuff. Let's start with the Minimalist. This is an all matte palette. They do have an all shimmer palette as well. I did not pick that one up, but the colors looked really pretty. And this is how it looks like. To me, this is a great everyday kind of eyeshadow palette, all matte, different depths of brown, and I think it is a good overall neutral palette. So let's swatch it. I haven't used this on my eyes, just so you guys know. It's just from what I can tell. So these are very pigmented, very, very creamy. I do like how the mattes feel. They're creamy, they're pigmented enough. They seem very soft and almost silky. So that is the Minimalist eyeshadow palette. That is perfect for kind of everyday. I'm curious about the different depths between this one because this brown seems quite deep. We're gonna try that on, but let's swatch all of them first. Moving on to the Realist. This is the one that I'm most excited about. So I think it's gonna work with my everyday kind of style. And this has all the formulas. It has matte, satin, shimmer, and metallic. Here is a closer look to the palette. And here are the swatches. This one right here, this peachy color, has some like soft sparkles through it. And this deep one is the one that excites me the most. That looks like a stunning kind of shimmery metallic color. Really, really pretty. Maybe you guys can see the swatches a little bit better here. Sometimes when I show you 2 up close, the color kind of washes them out, but yeah, this looks like a beautiful color story. I'm excited about this one. Then we have the Futurist, which has 2 mattes, a shimmer, and a metallic. And this one's more like a bronzy color story. All of these are quite minimalistic. They're not super intense. Even though there's pigment, you're not gonna get those super Pat McGrath shimmers and glitters. This is a very soft, minimalistic palette. And I actually really like those palettes. I find them very, very reached for in my collection. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Here are the swatches for the Futurist. Ooh, this looks like that perfect everyday bronzy color story that's not too intense. That looks beautiful. And last one is the Modernist, which is more of a mauve color story. And I think this is going to be very popular. A lot of people love this color story. Here's a close-up of the palette. And you do get 3 mattes and 1 metallic. And here are the swatches. A close-up. That mauve is really pretty. It's not too much. That purple is softer, not too much shimmer and glitter in it. It's a very, very smooth. Let's start with the Minimalist. I do like that they have a mirror, at least that much. These eye looks are going to be very fast, very minimal, and I'm going to use minimal brushes as well. So I'm starting with the cream shade. Look how much pigment comes off. And I didn't even set my eyes yet. Okay, that has quite a lot of pigment. I like that. Then I'm taking the next color and using the same brush, just going in the crease. This is a perfect kind of neutral brown, not too warm, not too cool tone. The way these feel and blend are extremely soft. They don't feel chalky at all. They feel smooth, but a little powdery. Like there's some kickback here. Taking a smaller brush, this is a BK Beauty A502. I'm just gonna intensify the outer corner. That's so pretty. I like that color. Man. You don't even have to blend these out. You don't have to blend these out. These are so incredibly easy to work with. Wow. I did not want to like these at all because of the price and just kind of how little product you get, but I can't deny that these mattes are excellent. They work so well. That's kind of nice. Okay, let me get an even smaller brush, and I'm taking the deepest brown and I'm just almost lining the eye and feathering it out like so. Super easy. Just taking that brown, I'm gonna go under here and slowly building the lower lash line a little bit. You could go much smokier and you could take the brown all over the lid. That could be such a beautiful evening look. But we're just doing a simple everyday look right now. The last thing I'm doing is I'm taking this cream color and I'm just gonna brighten up this inner corner right here. Did you guys see the blend? And is this my bad eye? I have one bad eye where there's an indentation in it. That is so easy. Wow. Okay, let me put mascara and I'll show you the finished look. Here is the finished look with the Minimalist palette. And I have to say that I don't think I've ever worked less for an eyeshadow look as I did with this quad. Definitely using for different colors. This was one of the easiest and most blendable eyeshadow looks that I've done since I can remember. It is so easy to use these palettes. It's definitely minimal. You know, you could intensify the colors. You could do it a little bit smokier, but this is just such a basic everyday eyeshadow look that you could create. And I think it looks so effortless and elegant. There's one drop right here of a black, and I don't know if that's the mascara or if it's the eyeshadow, but I'm loving this and I'm so surprised. I am so surprised because I had zero intention of liking these. Sometimes I do almost judge a product just by the way it looks, by the price, without trying it on. And this was one of those that I was like, I'm not gonna like this. This is just gonna be just like every other palette, but I have to say that this was so easy to work with. But let's move on to the next palette and just see if my thoughts are the same. Let's do the Modernist next because the other two, I want to see them side by side. So I am taking the lightest shade right there and just setting almost everything. Very pigmented, very soft, blurring. Okay, going in with this shade down here. This color reminds me a lot of the new Makeup by Mario shadows in mauve. Kind of gives the same vibe. Then I'm just gonna darken up the look a little bit. These are powdery, so just be aware of that. Curious about if I have fallout. So far, no fallout. I'm just applying the color and then going in with a fluffier brush and blending this out. That dark color has quite a lot of pigment. This is also quite easy to blend out. I'm not having any trouble or anything like that. That's pretty. And I think I'm just gonna go with my finger and take the purple shade and put it on the lid. These shimmers or metallics are soft. Very, very soft and smooth. Oops, I have a lash. Ooh, the color does show up. Again, I'm using my finger, so it's probably showing up more than it would with a brush. But that's a pretty color. Okay, just going on the lower lash line and matching kind of whatever we did on top with the matte colors. Not too much, but just enough. And then taking the lighter shade and cleaning up this inner corner a little bit, and maybe right up here as well. Very smooth. If I were to describe this palette or this formula overall, it's just smooth and elegant. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and I'm gonna go in the deepest shade and I'm just gonna focus it on the lash line a little bit more to give a little bit more depth there. And going back in with the purple just one more time to intensify that in the center and slowly blending it into the front. Yeah, I definitely added a lot more pigment. Just blending it up here. That's it. Let me put mascara and I'll show you the finished look. Here is the finished look with the Modernist palette. And just like the first one, this blended out really nicely. There was quite a lot of pigment with that deeper shade, which surprised me, but it blended out really well. And also that purple, like metallic shade showed up really well. Like you saw, I used my fingers and that worked really well. And you know, the metallic shade is very soft. You could literally use this in the crease. It's that soft. So if you have more mature eyes, I think you would love this kind of formula because it's very, very forgiving and just kind of blurring on the eyes. So it definitely gave me more of a smoky eye, but it's still, I would say, quite wearable. So yeah, this is the Modernist, and I think it's a really cool color story. I think it's really pretty. Usually I don't reach for colors like this, but for some reason I feel like this does work and I like it. I do really like it. All I did is remove my eyeshadow and set my eyes a little bit with concealer so they won't be all red. Moving on to the color Futurist, and we'll work around the mascara. I just don't have time to take it all off. Okay, so this one has one shimmer, two mattes, and one metallic. And the shimmer is the lightest one. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start with the brown one right there. I'm just taking a fluffy brush. I have a ton of fluffy brush that are exactly the same. These are from, honestly, I don't even know. I think the company doesn't exist anymore. And I remember stocking up when they kind of went out of business. I can't remember the brand, but they're just these really fluffy big brushes. So I have probably 4 or 5 of them that I just kind of use. They're all here. So not the same dirty brush. That is a wash of that color. I'm taking a more precise brush and adding just a little bit more of the same brown. Obviously, it's not going to be as easy to do the eye look just because I have mascara on. We will make it work. Mostly with these shadows, it's just so easy. Okay, so that is a beautiful, very soft brown everyday. Wow, I did not pluck my eyebrows for quite some time. I only do it when it's tragic, you know, when it's like taking over my eyelid. Taking the same brown on the lower lash line here. Really pretty, not too orange. I was kind of worried that it would look maybe a little bit orange, but it doesn't. Going in with this darker brown and darkening the outer corner and the crease. Slowly adding more product. This is so easy to work with, just like all the other mattes. I think the mattes are excellent here. They're very blendable, very soft. Oh, that's so pretty. I could leave it here and I'd be so happy. But actually, let me take the same brown and a more pointed brush and go right here and connect it. It's pretty much the same eye look, just with a different palette. And I feel like that's helpful rather than me doing a really smoky eye with one palette and a different style with the other. This way you can see how each of the eyeshadow palettes look like. Let's take the lightest shade that has a little bit of a softer shimmer in it. And it's soft, it's not intense. I'm gonna take it right here in the inner corner. Ooh, that is so pretty. I'm taking the same right up here. This is KJH brand number 3 brush. It's such a cool brush. I love it. I could just leave this here and I would be happy, but we're gonna take this color. I am not a huge fan of gold on my eyes. I can make it work, but it's just not something that I gravitate towards. But this one seems soft enough where I would enjoy it, you know? It's not too much. I'm using my finger. Yeah, that's not too much. I feel like it's very wearable. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take the lighter shade and put it right in the center right here, just to brighten up this section. And I'm kind of tapping it because I don't want it to take over, because this is quite intense. Look at that color. If I were to put this all over the center of the eyelid, it would completely take over the bronzy shade. So I'm just gently adding this where I want a little bit of brightness. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay. I like this. I really like this. This was the one that I probably liked the least when I just saw it in person. It just seemed a little bit basic, and I think that gold threw me off a little bit, but it's a pretty gold. Do not be intimidated by it. I think it's very nice. I may just add a little bit of more of this darker shade right out here and on the lash line. And you can be like messy with this because it just blends in. Wow. Like I just put it there and it just softly blends it in. Now, because they are so blendable, you have to build up the pigment rather than initially get a ton of pigment, which I like. But if you're used to that, maybe Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath kind of pigment, this is like half that pigment if I were to compare it with, but you can build it up. I'm just adding a little bit more of the mascara to make sure it's nice and coated and we don't have shadows all over it. And that's it. And that's the eye look. Here is the finished look with the Futurist eyeshadow palette. And I think it's really beautiful. The warm tones in this are not too much. So even if you like more of a neutral undertone, I think this would be still very, very pretty because it's not too much. It's not orangey at all. I think it's very easy to work with. Another great color story. And it took me no time to create this look. Let's move on to the last one, which is probably the one I'm most excited about. And I think it's just that bronzier shade. Now this one has one matte, one satin, one shimmer, and one metallic. So it's a little different than the other ones. And the color story looks a little bit more kind of peachy, neutral. So we'll see. Starting off with the lightest shade, I am gonna set this. These lighter colors are pigmented enough where it actually does set your eye. You know, it's not very soft. It has pigment to it. Then we're gonna take this color and put it in the crease. I know it's satin, but it's so soft that I'm just using it as my crease color. You could use this all over the lid as well. Very soft. Just taking the same color and going under here with a clean brush. That color is very, very soft. I do want to see if I can build it up a little bit. I personally like it like this, but for you, so you can see if it's a buildable color, I'm just going to build it up a little bit more. And yeah, you can build it up, but again, it's a very soft kind of peachy shade. You're not going to get a ton of pigment. I'm losing my lashes. This is like the third lash I had to scrape off my cheek. Moving on to this one. This is more like a shimmery, it has some gold in it, and I'm going to put it in the center with a brush. I will go with my finger after just to see how it looks like. I can hear my son coming, so give me a second. I will build this up with my finger a little bit. Oh yeah, it has a lot more pigment. This one has the most natural look just because it's close to my skin tone. It still has that kind of peachy color. It has a little bit of gold shift in it. I see it in person much more than I see it on the monitor. I feel like the monitor doesn't pick up the shade too much, but in person, I definitely see the color, and it's really beautiful. Taking the same shade and putting it on the lower lash line right here. This reminds me a little bit of the Pillow Talk, the original quad. The softness that has, this kind of has it as well. But I will take the deeper shade, and instead of working it into the crease, I kind of want to put it as a smudgy liner. I think that this is such a beautiful color, and I want to actually see it in action. So I'm taking a brush and I'm just smudging this color on the lower part of the eyelid. It doesn't show up as much as I would want to with that fluffy brush, so I'm taking a smaller brush and adding it with this. I think that helps a lot more, but it's very soft, a little softer than I expected. I may use my finger with it. This is just adding a little bit of depth and a little bit of dimension. I'm just taking my pinky finger and adding this close to the lash line and slowly building it up. I think with the brush it was softer. With my finger it definitely shows up a lot more. I'm just blending this out to kind of almost smoke it out this way, not the outer area. Okay, but that's such a unique color. Can you guys tell? I feel like this doesn't show up well on camera, but in person, this is stunning. I'm just taking my water spray and I'm just gonna intensify this color right here a little bit. Taking the same color, I'm gonna use it right here on the lower lash line. This does have the most fallout. I'll clean it after. I'm just taking the lightest shade on a fluffy brush and cleaning up this inner corner a little bit and up here and kind of around, and then touching up the mascara a little bit because it got lots of brown on it. The one thing that this eyeshadow needs is a little bit of brightness right in the inner corner, so I'm taking just a little bit of the Futurist lighter shade and adding it right here to brighten this up. You could just use your highlighter as well. It doesn't have to be an eyeshadow. And here is the finished look with the Realist eyeshadow palette. Now, out of all of them, I think this is probably the most unique and different. And I think because they chose to give us the darker shades as the shimmer shades, makes it a little bit more unique because you have that chocolatey bronzy color that has just a little bit, I want to say, of a purple tone in it. It doesn't say in the description, but I think it has just a little bit of that in it that makes it so unique and smoky. You also get that kind of peachy rose gold shade that has that gold shift in it. And then the lightest one is a matte and then the satin. So it ends up being, if you want to use the deeper ones, it ends up being a little bit smokier than you'd expect. The undertones are neutral leaning peachy. I think some of the shades could lean a little peachy, but not too much, at least not on my skin tone. But I found this palette quite unique and I love the look that it gave. It kind of reminds me of this very elegant, bronzy, slight smoky eye look. That I love. I think it's very modern and very sophisticated. I'm probably going to take this eyeshadow off and wear this palette today just because I think it works with my outfit. But I really like it. The only issue I had was with the bronzier shade. The brush that I used didn't pick it up quite well. The second I went in with my fingers, it did a great job. But you may need a synthetic brush to pick that up, or just use your fingers, or you could also wet a brush, and I think that that would give you a lot more pigment. But I love this color story. I think it's more unique than the other ones, and yeah, I think that bronzy shade is so beautiful. I ended up putting the color Realist on both eyes. It's what I'm going to wear today. I love it. I think it's so cool. I think it's a little edgy without being too much, yet it's still elegant. I really like it. I think out of all of them, I like this one the most based on my personal style, and I love the Minimalist one. Is that the name of it? Yeah, Minimalist. I really like this. If I could pick two, it would be these two. This is the all matte one. I just think it's so wearable, so easy to work with, and I think the mattes are exceptional in these palettes. Overall, my thoughts on this collection and this formula. First of all, I do think it's overpriced. I don't think you need to spend that kind of money to get a good eyeshadow palette. Natasha Denona has an all matte $25 or $27 quint eyeshadow palette. It is small, but it's probably similar in grams as this, and that is less than half the price, and it's incredible. It's wonderful. You can get a very similar look, probably the exact same eye look as you do from the Minimalist palette that I loved so much. But I have to say the blendability and the softness of these shadows are superior in my opinion. I think it's incredibly easy to work with. I think if you have more mature eyes where you need that softness, you need your eye look to just go over wrinkles so softly, I think that you would really appreciate this formula. But it is nothing revolutionary that you have to drop everything and go try it. The shimmer shades, some of them are quite pigmented. You guys saw in the Futurist. This one, the light shade was very, very, very pigmented, very intense, which I like to see. But then you have the softer colors as well, which is this one, the metallic. This one was very soft, not too intense, very smooth. So you do have a variety of brighter, more intense colors or shimmers, and some that are softer. And I like that. Overall, this is more of a softer color palettes and pigmentation and story overall. It's more minimalistic, kind of more elegant. I would say it's more geared towards more mature women. I wouldn't say older, but just overall women that kind of don't wear a ton of eyeshadow and they just kind of want to frame their eye. You can get a pop of color with that purple, but nothing is intense. You know, I don't see a teenager wanting to wear something like this. And I feel like I am getting to more of that mature woman makeup style where I like a softer eye look. I can have a smokier eye look, but it's still very elegant. So I am shocked that I like these. I did not try the original Hourglass eye formula, the one that came separate, so you would just buy individuals. That ended up being so expensive. So I can't compare it to that, but the matte formula in this is exceptional. The shimmers are nice too, but again, I think the standout is the mattes, how blendable and soft they are. So I can't compare it to the original formula. And overall, Hourglass, I've never been a fan of their eye stuff that much. I like their mascara and the scatter lights, but this is impressing me and I like it, and it is definitely more my style. So I'm shocked I like this. I was completely ready to come here and kind of butcher this release for the price, for, you know, just the quality, but the quality is there. I still don't like the packaging. It just feels flimsy. It doesn't feel necessarily cheap. I do like the way it looks and how small it is compared to my hand. So I love that because I'm going to go to the beach soon and I'm probably just going to bring one of these palettes and I'll be happy. So I like that. I just don't like the way they feel in the tin foil. And I don't like the price. The price is excessive. It's too much. Nothing is really worth $68 for 4 tiny eyeshadows. So if you're interested in the value that you get for the price, this is not it. Go somewhere else. But if you're just interested in the quality and if these are good, I think they're wonderful. So that's it. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.